So I thought I'd just kind of briefly go over something that I thought would be kind of helpful for newer players. So if you ever go and do your lamp runs, and let's say you want to build a regen set or a crit set or a combo set, I've always told you that what you can do is go into auto, pick the first filter for whatever item you're looking for, and then set the quality. And the nice thing is let's say, for example, all right, I hit an item that I want. Then all you got to do is put it in your set, right? But let's say it's another Eternal piece that you don't want. Well, rather than trash it, what I recommend you do is actually have another set and throw it on that set. What I've done over time is I've actually built multiple sets this way. And so it gives you flexibility in different stats. So like all my stunning skill crit goes into set 2, my combo crit goes into set 1, and all my regen goes into set 3. But it's a strategy that, not jokingly, saves you quite a bit in the long run, because you're not throwing or tossing out Eternal pieces that you could be using. And in all honesty, right, one thing that I find you are often going to be really, really having a hard time with in this game is lamps are not an easy thing. Like, you're going to have a really hard time getting the drops that you're going to want in your gear pieces, and so like right now, if I throw on like my regen set, no crit, no combo, some counter strike, some stun, but not a ton of stun, and then I get pretty wild with the amount of skill damage I do, and skill crit's pretty high as it is, and that gives me a fair bit, and that's just part of the mage class that I'm running. On the same token, right, if I was to switch that out now in favor of this particular set, which builds up on the amount of crit I do, okay, and I can even add this on there and add the crit to it, swatch my weapon over for the Flaming Carnage, and even though, yes, I've now dramatically dropped my regen, my crit rate's down at 70%, and all I had to do was switch my gear in to do it. And now I've got a completely different type of build. Now, that is not to say you can't like go out of your way to adjust it or make adjustments as needed. But as you can see, I've changed the way that I was playing, where, hey, I'm a little tankier. Now I'm a lot more offensive based, and I'm going to do a lot more damage that way. Now, as far as the avians go, I'm still working on this, but this is one of those things that basically what I recommend you do is pair up with players that have similar playstyles and are working on avians that are similar to yours. And then you just want to grab growth. You want to work on or bring growth up while getting the talents and affiliate, more importantly, the passive affixes that you're wanting. That way, you can get something that's really decent and relatively high level. Now, occasionally you will run into getting these negative affixes from time to time. And if they're not, like, terribly annoying, I try to ignore them in a way. Because if you can just build on growth, that's going to ultimately help you out in the long run anyway. And by stabilizing and actually building on top of growth, you'll actually get better avians over time anyway. Now, if you didn't know, basically every time you pair them up together, you can actually tap the breed possibility, and it'll even tell you what the percentage range is of running different types of avians. So if you didn't already know that, make sure you check that out. That said, about the only thing left now is I've got some keys here for the Flaming Temple, so we're just going to go ahead and run a bunch of these real quick. And then I've got Dark Trials that I can rerun. Now, a big thing that enchants here wise I'm trying to aim for here is you always want to try and grab your, specifically when it comes to a mage, you're after skill damage, you're after stun. So these are stats that I'm paying very close attention to. It doesn't hurt to have things like, say for example, like here, this is skill damage, right? But it only goes up to 400%. That is not to say that if you got a purple version of that and it was skill damage and it was a elemental wrath, then you're obviously going to get best of both worlds, and that's kind of what you want to try and aim for. No, I don't know. For a while I was running a Plume Monarch, so I still have some combo bits and pieces. But like this one, for example, you can either get boss resistance, or I could just pop this on and get a giant chunk of crit damage added to my ability set just by changing that out. And there's not really any harm in that, it's just it all builds off of whatever you're doing at the time. So, on that note, I will go ahead and we will go ahead and see if I can upgrade this. I might have enough to do so. Looks like I do. And so like that, now we've got, our fully maxed out version of that. Now I just need to do the same thing for this. And that's going to take time, but eventually we'll also have that one maxed out to 20, and then we'll be trying to get a purple pink version for their top right, and then we'll be good to go on skill damage. Now on talents, this is the current build that I'm using. I'm basically trying to build up on wound because I think I can counteract mages that are running regen, and that will kind of help out. And then along with that, trying to bring up skill damage and global attack as much as possible while bringing up HP is kind of the hassle as a profit more than anything. But just to showcase like a different way of going about changing these stats you're in, guys, you can just as easily build different sets and work on them. Of course, if you want to save some money, check out this part of the video.